Hello everyone, welcome back to Global Government News. This is the finale, the last video for this news series for July 28th. Man, we just had a bunch of news to cover today, and if you were one of the ones to hang with me to this fifth and final video, I definitely would like to say thank you. I appreciate you taking the time, not just to check out these videos that I spent time making in that, but also because I really appreciate you taking an interest in these subjects because they affect all of us, and that's the reason why I make them, is just to provide up-to-date information for people so they can make better decisions. I know this sounds corny and cheesy, but I mean, that's pretty much why I make them. So. But, okay, so this last blitz of news articles, I'm going to start off with this. New immunization required for students this fall. We all know about the Tdap shot, or the whooping cough shot in Alabama that they were making mandatory this year. And it says the Canton City Health Department is reminding parents of children entering 7th grade this fall of a new requirement for immunizations, effective with this 2010-2011 school year, and each year thereafter. One dose, you like that, one dose of eugenics, one dose of Tdap. So see, it's the same shot. Tetanus, diphtheria, and acellular pertussis, adolescent, vaccine will be required prior to entry into the. So see, they force you to take their eugenics, which is bullshit. You don't have to be against vaccines. You just have to be against forced vaccinations in order to go to school, which you are also forced to do. The dose is intended to be administered as a booster dose for students who have completed the required doses for the initial Tdap vaccine. The requirement has been made due to the increase of pertussis, whooping cough cases in the adolescent population. Whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory tract infection marked by a severe hacking cough, followed by a high-pitched intake of breath. Parents should call their children's pediatrician or local health department to schedule an appointment to receive the vaccine. And like I said, that's the tyranny of a democracy, the tyranny of a majority, where people should be given the opportunity to provide their own health care, but we don't live in that free type of society. We live in a very structured, very organized society, and in it, when there's things like this, increase in whooping cough, well then we all have to take vaccines, right? So that's the insanity of it. And some of you freedom lovers out there may have already heard about this, but if you haven't, it gets even more insane. Collecting rainwater now illegal in many states as big government claims ownership over our water. The wonderful naturalnews.com, great site run by Mike Adams, God bless him. He says many of the freedoms we enjoy here in the U.S. are quickly eroding as a nation transforms from the land of the free into the land of the enslaved. But what I'm about to share with you takes the assault on our freedoms to a whole new level. You may not be aware of this, but many western states, including Utah, Washington, and Colorado, have long outlawed individuals from collecting rainwater on their own properties because, according to officials, that rain belongs to someone else. Right? It belongs to the government. That's why, you know, they're up there spraying aluminum oxide along with silver iodide and barium oxide along with other nanoparticles, because they own the skies, they own the water, they own the earth. I think Native Americans would be, dead ones would be rolling over in their grave to hear that. That's how self-righteous the elites are. They are God now. They believe that they are God because they can create lightning and earthquakes and rain and snow. That they can create a clone of life. And I'll finish this up by reading this last paragraph. As bizarre as it sounds, laws restricting property owners from diverting water that falls on their homes and land have been on the books for quite some time in many western states, which they have. Says only recently, as droughts and renewed interest in water conservation methods have become more common, have individuals and business owners started to butting heads with law enforcement over the practice of collecting rainwater for personal use. And, oh yeah, even out in Oregon when I was visiting, they had problems with gray water. They were trying to let the water that they used for their bathhouse facilities, all with composter machines and that. And they were trying to get gray water contraptions set up just to take their water and do it organically and let it drain with no chemicals in it, of course. And they weren't even allowed to do that until just recently in Oregon. So God, I don't even know what they'd do if they were trying to collect rainwater, which is something that they do plan on doing in the near future. And I mentioned in a video, or recent videos, about how BP would rebrand its image, and they might possibly break up. The actual company might break up into micro companies. But as of right now, it looks like they're going to stay in one spot. But that's why I say, when people are worried about, oh, they're not going to clean it up, they're not going to clean it up. Well, look, they just dropped a bunch of chemicals, the Corexit chemicals, and they just said, where's all the oil today in all the news videos? Well, that's where it is. They just dispersed it. That's what it is. It's a dispersant. It didn't fix the problem. It just hid the problem. And then this guy, the old CEO, he just got a golden parachute, and he's gone, and he got a transfer over to the Russian BP. So you see what happens? They just rebrand their company. They'll probably change their brand image, like their logo, and they might even change BP to something else. Who knows? But it says BP hopes to turn page with new CEO, leaner company. And it says battered BP began reinventing itself in the shadow of the Gulf of Mexico oil spill Tuesday, naming its first American CEO as it reported a record $17 billion quarterly loss. Its outgoing chief miffed the White House anew with his parting comments. Oh, here we go. So I was somewhat right. One certain change is that BP will become smaller. It was announced it will sell $30 billion in assets and has a set aside $32 billion to cover costs from the largest offshore oil spill in history. An article today of propaganda. 100 days later, BP taps new CEO, seeks fresh start. 100 days after the rig explosion that set off the worst for blah, 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 the oil giant behind it is hoping to move beyond the losses, the gaffes, and the lying video that ran for weeks of the busted whale coughing up massive amounts of crude. This is from my neck of the woods, the Post-Tribune, Northwest Indiana. Oil from Griffith pipeline spills into Michigan Creek. Pungent odors hanging over the Battle Creek area of Kalamazoo River a day after 840,000 gallons of oil from the Griffith Pipeline Company leaked into a creek that feeds into the river. And we all know about the tugboat that hit a totally separate well in Louisiana yesterday. Now they have oil spill. This is from last week, July 21st. China's worst oil spill threatens wildlife as volunteers assist in cleanup, and they weren't prepared for it. So, I mean, there's all these oil spills, natural gas explosions, and like I said, it's either coincidence or these are sabotage. Much like the Japanese oil tanker that was attacked today. This is an interesting article. From the AP from today, July 28th, says it was a study says Amish expanding westward. Search by the booming North American population of Amish for affordable, fertile farmland has produced settlements in 28 states and Ontario. It has even led parties to scout recently for properties in Alaska and Mexico. New study estimates the number of Amish have increased nearly 10% in the past 2 years alone to a total population of 249,000. It says the figure was just 124,092, and nearly all Amish descended from a group of about 5,000 in the early 20th century. These are the people that are homeschooled. These are the people that don't do the vaccinations. These are the people that have low autism numbers. These are also the people that get rated by the federal agencies for selling raw milk. This is a very reassuring article after all we've talked about today and covered. Mortgage brokers to be fingerprinted and registered. It says mortgage loan originators will have to be fingerprinted and sign up to a central registry to do business, and it was basically issued by the Federal Reserve, who has a dictatorial powers right now, as of last year. In the sheeple news, Gwyneth Paltrow goes country. That's right. When thinking of a short list of people who don't exactly strike me as country in any way, shape, or form, I'd have to say actress Gwyneth Paltrow firmly lands in that particular group. However, she is slated to play a country singer in the upcoming film Country Strong, and she's doing it alongside one of the genre's biggest. And lastly, in movie talk, Rihanna to make movie debut in Battleship. So thank you everyone for joining me, and for Global Government News, I am Darko. Have a wonderful day.